PowerBoat Television is brought to you by Yamaha, revs your heart. Ford F-Series, smart, tough, capable. And Cruisers Yachts, manufacturing world-class boats.
Muskoka is a water sports paradise, and lucky for us, it's right in our backyard. It's where I and many others spend the majority of our short Ontario boating season trying to stretch out the few months of nice weather we have. If you live in a chillier boating climate like I do, it seems like every year at the end of the summer, you blink and it's over. You missed out on all the cool things you wanted to do. This year I got to spend a ton of time on boats, bringing you all kinds of great content for PowerBoat Television, but I didn't get to spend as much as I'd like behind the boat. So when I got a call from my buddy Andy, who runs the premier wake school in Muskoka, who said he had some toys that he wanted me to check out, you better believe I jumped at the opportunity. So here we are today on Lake Joe, and we're ready for a great day on the water.
Muskoka Wake is a full-service water sports instructional business based in Muskoka. We operate on Lake Muskoka, Lake of Bays, Lake Rosso, and Lake Joseph. We come right to your dock, and we do flyboarding, wakeboarding, wake surfing, and hydrofoil. Muskoka Wake was founded in 2011, and we're wrapping up our 9th season on the water. We'll do between 1,400 and 1,600 hours of instruction, and that's between our 3 Malibus, our 2 Yamaha Wave Runner flyboard machines, and customers' boats as well.
Andy's a guy who's got it all figured out. Not only has he found a way to make a living here in Muskoka doing what a lot of us do for fun, but he's also found the elusive endless summer, spending our winter months teaching wakeboarding down in Turks and Caicos. If you think I've got it good here at PowerBoat TV, I've got nothing on Andy.
Owning and operating a water sports business is definitely a lifestyle choice. We're very fortunate to be able to do it in a place like Muskoka and meet a lot of people from all over the world that come here to experience this little slice of paradise.
Before he pulls out and heads south for the winter, he's invited me up for one last day on the water. The plan is to start at the top of Lake Joe at their Gordon Bay location and surf all the way down to Port Sandfield at the south end of the lake. Then we'll cruise into Rosso, up to the Joseph River, and finish the loop back up at Gordon Bay. Muskoka is the ultimate water sports destination, and Muskoka Wake knows how to do it right. Nobody else is as equipped to do as many things behind the boat in one day as possible, so that's what we're gonna do. And I've even brought a secret toy for Andy and I to play with at the end of the day. For now, we're loading up and heading out to one of the most beautiful spots in the whole region.
What's special about Lake Joseph is the tall cliffs, the untouched shoreline because cottages are so spread out here, as well as being able to find calm water almost everywhere you go because of how the islands run down the lake.
But we didn't come here to look at the scenery. So after deciding the old-fashioned way that I would go first, I hopped in and away we went. I grew up behind a boat, spending just about every second of the summer I could on a slalom ski. But these days, wake surfing is my favorite. It's low impact, social, and above all, fun.
Wake surfing is definitely taking the lakes by storm. It's by far our most requested service that we offer, and it's something that everybody in the family can do, from young kids to the older parents. It's mellow on the body, you go at slow speeds, so whether you don't have any water sports experience at all, or you have a water ski background, it's definitely something that you want to try.
And if you don't have the right boat, Muskoka Wake is a great place to start. They've got a fleet of brand new Malibus packed with technology to manufacture the perfect wave, like this Wakesetter 23 LSV we're in today.
So the Malibu lineup has proprietary technology like the Malibu Surfgate and the Malibu Power Wedge. And those two technologies really allow for the wave to not only generate the size it does, but also to be manipulated into different shapes, lengths, heights, and whatnot. So the Power Wedge is operated by a hydraulic piston, and it deploys the wedge down from the transom of the boat into the water. is positioned between 1 and 6 different positions. And through those positions, it allows the boat to have an equivalent of 1,500 pounds of ballast added to the stern of the boat. And that's what really is the difference between Malibu and that you'll notice in the size of the wave, because you don't need to have that capacity inside the boat for the hard tanks to fill up with water and able to get that extra poundage at the back of the boat.
Although the boat does have 4,240 pounds of built-in ballast, so that extra 1,500 from the wedge more than doubles its dry weight of 5,100 pounds to push an incredible amount of water up the wave. But what about shape? That's where the Malibu Surfgate comes in.
Surfgate allows you to deploy a paddle on one side or the other, and that shapes the wave on the opposite side of the boat. So when a rider, like when Jake is out there left foot forward surfing on the left side of the boat, the right paddle or the right Surfgate deploys, and that's what creates the wave off the other side of the boat.
So gone are the days where you had to put all your friends or your fat uncles in one corner of the boat just to weight it down on that one side.
Yeah, there's no more shifting people around the boat. You just hop in the boat, everybody gets comfy in their position. The boat rides flat and even through the water, even having a wave on one side or the other. The great thing about a business like ours is we get a lot of people on the boat throughout the day. Some people are right foot forward and surf on the right side. Some people are left foot forward on the left side. And because of that, it's just a push of a button and you can change on the fly, as you saw Jake do, utilizing the Malibu Surf Band.
The Surf Band is another piece of awesome tech that uses Bluetooth to allow a rider like Jake here to control the shape of the wave, the side they want to surf on, and even adjust the speed of the boat and change the music, all from back behind it. Do you even need a driver with this thing?
At this point, I mean, Malibu has made it so simple that anybody that can drive a boat in a straight line is able to take somebody wake surfing.
With all that in mind, how about a quick public service announcement? With all the technology built into these surf boats, it's obvious that the goal is to produce as big a wave as possible. But with that in mind, let's think about who we're sending that wave towards. Make sure that when you're wake surfing, you're always out as far as you can in the middle of the lake, away from inhabited shorelines, away from people's docks and boats, so that everybody can enjoy the lake and wake surfing can thrive and survive. Coming up later in the show, we continue our trip around Muskoka and break out a few other toys.
Boat show season affords us an opportunity to see models we don't often see on the water, like this gorgeous Stefano Regini designed Azimut S6. And we're here early with our cameras to get a closer look. Well known for their gorgeous Italian-styled yachts, Azimut has been building boats for over 50 years now. Characterized by the squared-off vertical bow and 6-pack of rectangular windows in the hull side, the S collection is perhaps the most recognizable profile in the Azimut line. I've always assumed the distinctive exterior geometry was simply artful form, but I have since learned this form is designed to flood the interior spaces with light. Starting aft, we find an enormous hydraulic swim platform split to provide a step up for easy access from the dock and to the water. There is no need for tender chocks on this platform because, well, the S6 has a cavernous garage, capable of storing tenders up to 10 feet 10 inches in length. The remote-powered passerelle is cleverly hidden out of the way behind a trap door. Access to the cockpit can be had from either side, but the most direct is to port, where you don't have to step over a cushion. The cockpit is partially covered and provides outdoor lounge space for at least 6, with some protection from the elements. The optional wet bar can be equipped with a barbecue, sink, refrigerator, or ice maker. This foldable carbon cockpit table is also optional and provides a stylistic nod to the lightweight carbon materials used in construction. Cameras are great, but an aft joystick control provides a much better view during close quarters maneuvering near the dock. We expect to find storage under the sunbed and sofa, but the S6 also has a drying hammock for wet suits and towels. The salon and galley are on one level, providing a 360-degree panoramic view whether relaxing or entertaining. A large power sunroof will let additional light and fresh air in when desired. The ship's electrical panel is cleverly hidden below the entertainment panel, within easy reach. A vital component to entertaining, I'm a big fan of the galley-up layout, and this port-side split galley remains well connected to the spacious lounge. Ergonomically, it is raised for comfort compared to the entertainment cabinet, but does not require a step up or down and doesn't interfere with movement to and from the living areas. Fridge and freezer drawers are located directly below the induction stove, with custom tableware stowed just opposite under the helm seats. Accommodations below include 3 separate cabins. The VIP stateroom is located forward and features a Queen Island berth, but just check out the headroom and the beam space in this stateroom. Notable in the 3rd cabin are the twin beds, as opposed to the bunks we normally see. The shared dayhead situated to port has a dedicated shower and is both spacious and bright. The full beam master stateroom is located amidships, and the queen bed is situated diagonally to maximize space and headroom. Signature 6-pane Azimut hull-side windows deliver stunning views while illuminating the entire space. Here we can see the large vanity to port with a large hanging locker just aft. The washer-dryer combo is located just opposite the ensuite. Most surfaces are soft touch with plenty of discrete and indirect LED lighting. This boat is powered by triple Volvo IPS drives. Driving the pods are 3 Volvo Penta D8 550s. These 7.7-liter inline 6-cylinder diesels utilize a twin-entry turbo and a supercharger to maximize low RPM torque while minimizing fuel consumption at the higher cruising speeds associated with IPS drives. For the S6, that means a time to plane of about 7 seconds and a cruising range of 275 nautical miles at 30 knots. The hull shape was optimized hydrodynamically for the 3 IPS 700 drives. IPS is well known for enhancing a vessel's maneuverability, and not just at the dock, but underway as well. They are also known to be extremely efficient, which translates into lower fuel consumption and a blistering top speed of 35 knots. That kind of speed puts many remote anchorages within easy reach. On the S6, with the autopilot engaged, you can steer this boat with the joystick at any speed. And I'm not sure what's more empowering, steering a 60-foot coupe with the same joystick you find on a 30, or grabbing a hold of this wheel. Navigation and system information is provided by state-of-the-art touchscreens. On the S6, the superstructure, the stern platform, the garage, and even part of the deck are made from a lightweight carbon fiber. This allows some surfaces like the platform to be larger without adding weight. Less weight also helps with dynamic stability while reducing the work required by the gyros or stabilizers. When it's time to slow down and drop the anchor, you will find plenty of space above deck to enjoy your ultimate destination. Forward, we find an enormous sun pad and a sofa. Just imagine the view from here with the sun on the horizon. If your boat sits in the water most of the time, chances are you're plugging it into a 120-volt system somewhere, which means you're going to need cables and possibly an adapter or 2. There are literally dozens of different adapters out there, and not all are created equal. Today, we're going to look at a few of the more common ones from Marinco for connecting your boat to shore power or even a portable generator. Smaller cruisers under 35 feet typically require 20 to 30 amps when plugged in. Larger yachts, however, can require 50 amps or more to run multiple fridges and larger HVAC systems. If you're not sure which cable or adapter to use, check the inlet receptacle on your boat. The voltage and amperage should be printed on the inside and outside of the cover. Also pay close attention to the orientation of the blades. It is critical to know the dockside receptacle's voltage rating. 30 amp and 50 amp cables are all twist lock at both ends. This helps ensure a good connection, especially at the shore power receptacle. And if you don't have 50 amps at the dockside, you can get a Y adapter that connects two 30s and create a 50. Most cables and adapters have a threaded ring, which really helps ensure a solid connection at the vessel. Loose connections can start a fire, especially inside the receptacle. See how solid that is? However, it does stick out a little bit. And for that, Marinco makes a handy 90-degree adapter. Now, the adapter doesn't stick out quite as far, and it's easy just to clamp on shore power to it. loose connections can get hot to the point of starting a fire. Believe it or not, loose shore power connections are a common cause of boat fires, and you may not be around at all to put it out.
Away from the dock, if you don't have an onboard generator, you might want to run a portable generator, in which case you'll need an adapter. Most don't have a 30-amp receptacle. This is the least expensive straight adapter you can get, but when you plug them in, there's nothing really holding them in place, so they can kind of wiggle loose and eventually fall out. Marinco does make an EEL adapter with a threaded leg, which means we can plug it in, thread it, and now it can't come loose. Another cool thing about these EEL cables is they've got pinch clips, so you don't need a threaded or sealed adapter. They simply clamp together, just like that.
Marinco's EEL pigtails have the added benefit of one-handed operation with their easily engaged locking jaw clamp design and don't need a locking or a sealing ring. I also really like the LED indicators on the Marinco cables that visibly indicate the cable is getting power, handy for troubleshooting a tripped breaker. As you can imagine, Marinco makes just about every possible type of cable, connector, and adapter. Most importantly, they are designed and built to withstand the rigors of the marine environment with nickel-plated contacts and super flexible marine-grade cables. And they can be purchased at most marine chandleries.
With so much going on in Muskoka, there are plenty of great places to boat up and grab a bite to eat. But today, we've got no time to waste, so it'll be a drive-through lunch on the water for us. After spending the morning surfing our way down Lake Joe, we cruised into Lake Rosso through Port Sandfield, where Andy brought out our next toy. Apparently, he thought I'd reached my limit on the surfboard, so he upped the difficulty by a fair bit.
This is called the wake foil, and it's one of our newest segments of business that we're offering instruction on this year. It's a hydrofoil on a wake surfboard that you ride behind the boat just as you would wake surfing. The wing is shaped that it creates lift and naturally wants to rise out of the water. So you're actually riding the foil, which is under the water, on a 36-inch mast instead of riding the board on top of the water. It's the opposite of wake surfing in the sense that normally on a wake surf you want to put weight on your front foot to accelerate towards the boat. On this, you actually want to put weight on your back foot to allow the wing to rise in the water, and that's what's going to allow the board to accelerate.
Oh man, you think I can handle it?
There's only one way to find out. Let's get up there.
I was afraid he would say that.
Looking left.
With some top-notch coaching, I managed to get up on the wake foil, and it is much different than riding a normal wake surf. The foil seems to have a mind of its own. But after a couple close falls, I felt like I was really starting to figure out how this thing works.
There, that's where you want to be.
I thought I was doing pretty well. And then Andy got in and showed me how it's really supposed to look. I guess that's why he makes the big bucks. We've been on top of the water. We've seen this foil underneath the water.
Right.
How would you feel about getting more of a feel for the foil's perspective under the water?
Let's do it. What do you got in mind?
So we packed up and headed for the Joe River, a rock cut that connects Rosso to Joe, taking the scenic route, a beautiful slow cruise in the Wakesetter 23 LSV to get us back to the cliffs of Lake Joe. And a quick pit stop for Mitch and Jake, the Muskoka Wake Boys. After that, it was time to show Andy what I brought for us to try out. All right, Andy, so we've seen what you can do on top of the water. What do you say we see what you can do underneath it?
What do you mean?
This is a subwing. You ever seen one of these?
Yeah, I've seen these online, but I've yet to see one of these up here. I'd be super interested to try it out.
Well, our friends at Subwing sent us this for exactly that purpose. They wanted us to test it out, and I could not think of a better opportunity to do so than up here with you. What do you say?
Let's do it. Why don't you get out there and try it out, and I'll follow suit.
All right, you can one-up me after that. Sounds good. I'll guinea pig.
Let's do it.
The Subwing is a board with 2 separate wings that tilt independently, letting you dip, dive, and steer through the water like a dolphin. I've been pumped to try this thing out ever since I first saw it, and it did not disappoint. Even though our water isn't quite Caribbean blue, we had a blast cruising around between 2 and 5 miles per hour. This is a wicked toy you could use behind pretty well any boat, and it's easy on the gas gauge too. Not much of a spectator sport, though. But beneath the surface, the Subwing gets my seal of approval. After flying around under the water, there was only one thing left I had to try: flying above it. All right, Andy, we've done the surfing, we've done the foil board, we've done the Subwing. There's one thing I've been wanting to try for a long time, and you guys got it.
Yeah, so we've been doing flyboarding, Drew, for about the last 4 seasons, and it's become a really big part of our business.
Flyboarding has been around for a while, but it's not something most people have just lying around in their boathouse. So unless you've been on vacation down south or have a friend like Andy, you may not have had the chance to try it.
We have our Yamaha Wave Runner set up here. We have our flyboard, our hose, our U-pipe, and we're ready to get you flying.
So how does this all work?
Our U-pipe is going to connect to the back of the Wave Runner that we have retrofitted every year. When the wave water pumps the water in with the impeller and pushes out the back, it sends the water through the hose and out under the boots, and that's what levitates you up above the water.
Is this easy? Because it looks tough. Like, you see this, it's like the Iron Man suit. Is this something that anybody can do?
It's really basic. I mean, the big thing is that if you can stand in an athletic position, you can flyboard. It's a less is more sport, so the less you do, the more you get out of it.
All right, I'm good at doing less, so I can do that, I think.
All right.
Let me at it.
Let's do this.
I have to say it's a little tougher than Andy made it out to be. But again, with the right coaching, before long I was flying around like Iron Man. With a couple hiccups, of course. Thank goodness for helmets. And thanks to Andy and Muskoka Wake for having me out for a perfect day to cap off my boating season. It's not every day you can try 3 brand new things behind the boat. It never ceases to amaze me how much fun you can have on the water.